Are you doing this to yourself? Welcome back for another video to Recalibrate with Nate. And in this video, I wanted to ask you, are you doing this to yourself? Are you following an unhealthy plant-based diet? How can you have an unhealthy plant-based diet? You can have an unhealthy plant-based diet by not eating fresh fruits and vegetables. An unhealthy plant-based diet could be meals created with lots of oil and lots of salt, maybe added sugars. This is not necessarily going to be the most healthiest optimum food for the body, right? An unhealthy plant-based diet, otherwise known as the vegan diet, is a diet that is loaded with highly processed foods. Now, this day and age, it is said that 50% of the population gets the majority of its calories from highly processed foods, packaged foods, foods that are laden with all kinds of additives, oils, fats, or oils would be fats, the sugars, right? These sorts of things aren't necessarily going to be the best for us. Lots of salt. So an unhealthy plant-based diet or a vegan diet, which veganism has nothing to do with diet, but diet plays a huge role in veganism. An unhealthy plant-based or vegan diet is a diet that is loaded with these processed foods, mock meats and cheeses, mock being not the real thing, the real thing being coming from animals. So animal products being the flesh and fluids of animals, eggs, chicken, beef, pork, fish, dairy products and cheeses and all these sorts of things, those necessarily aren't the most healthy for us because they're loaded with saturated fats and cholesterols that necessarily aren't going to be beneficial for us. And an unhealthy plant-based diet would be transitioning off of those animal products to the processed mock foods, the foods that are trying to mimic these animal flesh and fluid products, the different meats, sausages, and the eggs, that are made out of whatever they're made out of, and the different kinds of milks and cheeses. Now, not to say that these foods are going to be, detrimental to your health, but they're not the healthiest foods. The healthiest foods are the plants in their natural form, raw, uncooked, just raw plants. That's going to be the healthiest foods, hands down. I mean, of course, there's different discussions about, well, you can get a lot of nutrients from cooking your food this way or that way, but plants, raw plants, are going to be the healthiest for us. So unhealthy plant-based diets, it's sad to see a lot of people follow these sorts of diets because it's not necessarily benefiting their body, which a lot of times if someone is going from an animal-based diet to a vegan diet, a diet that is just no animal products, but it's still highly processed foods, different crackers and all sorts of things, they very possibly could become mineral deficient, vitamin deficient in many ways. So there is such thing as being a unhealthy vegan. And this is kind of like, I feel a lot of people in the world think vegans are very unhealthy. And if someone is vegan for the animals and the environment alone, and they're not necessarily worried about their own particular health, and they love the sort of like science project foods out there, the Beyond Meats and these different products. I mean, it's amazing to have these options, 100%, but they're not the healthiest for us necessarily. Now, this is a sad thing to see. It's a sad thing to see someone being like, I was vegan for 7 years or whatever it may be, however long they may be, and I was deficient in so many minerals and I had to go back to eating animals. That's the part that like hurts my heart, because it's like, man, any diet can be done wrong, so to speak. And if we were to focus on eating healthfully, lots of fresh fruits and vegetables, maybe some soaked nuts and seeds, we're getting good nutrition. The nutrition is in the plants. The nutrition isn't in the processed foods. Some of these foods are fortified so we can get certain nutrients from them, say like, B12 or, some calcium or something rather. But if we're eating strictly highly processed foods that just happen to be vegan, that's not necessarily the healthiest, and there's going to be repercussions. Some people become deficient in certain nutrients, and then they blame the diet. They blame the plants, the plant-based foods, for their unhealthy decisions. And I feel that's irresponsible. We have to take responsibility, and we can't blame the plants or these plant-based products for our deficiencies. So this is where it's really important to make sure that you're hitting the nutritional needs for the body. And if you're needing help with that, we've created meal plans, we've created recipe books. I'll put the links in the description down below. 40% off all of the books that we have. I've got a course to teach you how to sprout, to teach you how to grow microgreens, to teach you how to ferment foods, to help build a healthy gut, and to help inspire you eat more fresh fruits and vegetables. It's plain and simple. It can be very delicious, and that's why we've created these meal plans, is to help you have some delicious foods, to where if you're an individual who is eating a predominantly unhealthy plant-based diet, to get on to eating more healthy foods. I understand these mock meats and cheeses are delicious. I've had a Beyond Meat burger. It's very delicious. Now, for sure, there's lots of different arguments about whether or not that's healthy for us, and we'd be better off eating the animal-based burger. But the fact of the matter remains is how much resources goes into getting one hamburger. It's unsustainable. We're wrecking this planet in so many ways with trying to feed the population of the planet with these animal-based foods. Plant-based foods are going to help us. But there is definitely a difference between an unhealthy plant-based diet and a healthy plant-based diet. And it's simple. Mother Nature designed it perfectly. If you're worried about omega-3s, flax seeds are the highest out of the majority of the plants that have omega-3s in them. Grind them up, throw them in your smoothie, throw them on some salad, throw them on your sandwich, whatever. You don't need the fish or the fish oils to get those omegas. It's sad to see people have issues and become unhealthy with a vegan diet and then revert back to eating animal products, and then they blame the food, they blame the plants, they blame the industries that are trying to make us sick. No. These industries are making mock meats and mock cheeses and milks and yogurts and all these sorts of things because we're voting for more plant-based options, but they're still processed foods. So my suggestion, or what I'm trying to inspire you on this channel, is to eat more fresh fruits and vegetables. So I hope you got something from this video. There definitely is a difference between a healthy plant-based and an unhealthy plant-based. So if you're eating predominantly unhealthy or processed plant-based foods, that's not going to be healthy. You are going to be deficient in certain things if that's what you're focused on, just chips and cookies and Beyond Meat burgers and these sorts of things. So do right by yourself. You're worth it. Invest in yourself. All right? If you stayed this long, give yourself a thumbs up, like and subscribe and all that jazz. Hit the bell for notifications for new videos. And hope to see you on the next one. Love you.